What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another stream, and in this video, of course, we're going to be doing the tech news and the gaming news. Truthfully, I just want to keep it real with you guys. I was actually streaming a little bit ago, but I had some connectivity issues, and I was having a really bad problem when it comes to my stream. So hopefully we are back in business, and everything should be fine on my end. So let's go ahead and talk about the gaming news and the tech news, and of course, if anyone stops by, feel free to talk about literally whatever you want. I'm always down to talk about literally whatever you guys are interested in. Let me go ahead and bring up the chat room here so we can actually see, so I can actually read your comments. If there's anything interesting and things like that that you would like to talk about, or just chat with me and things like that, because right now it does look like the stream is functional and it looks like it's actually working at the very moment. So let's go ahead and see if there's anything out there on the World Wide Web, so-called, to see if there's actually anything interesting, or maybe not interesting per se. Sideways, no available. Okay. Let me go ahead and bring up another window. Trying to set up everything too, so I'll be ready when if someone stops by and wants to hang out. Tilt window to left screen. That. Okay, we should be good to go. And let's see if there's actually anything interesting on the web that I would like to look at or talk about when it comes to the gaming news and the tech news. So yeah, it looks like it was. It looks like the problem I was having earlier looks like it was actually on my other computer. I don't know why that is, but I was using different software to actually do this IRL stream, but now it looks like it is fixed. So I guess I'm just gonna stick to this for the meantime, and it looks like everything is actually doing pretty good. So let's go ahead and read the news. Unfortunately, again, you won't be able to see what I'm actually talking about or what I'm actually looking at because I can't actually screen cap it. I tried to find a way to actually screen cap it, but unfortunately, it looks like there is no actual way I can screen cap it at the very moment. So we're not going to be doing that. But let's go ahead and see if there's anything interesting. It looks like you guys probably already know this, but it looks like Microsoft is actually going to be killing Windows Windows 7 permanently. Like they won't be supporting it anymore. Of course, if you log into a computer with Windows 10 with Windows 7, excuse me. Of course, you'll still be able to use the Windows 7 computer. It's just that, of course, you'll be unprotected and you won't get any updates to like protect you from malware or hacking and things like that, of course. So it won't be the most secure software out there, and it's probably not a good idea to run it. But if you still run it and you can't afford to get like Windows 10 or something, it's understandable. But it is actually very interesting to know that they're killing off Windows 7. But I guess it is about time that they would actually be killing off Windows 7, because let's think about it here. Windows 7 is actually a very old operating system from Windows. I actually don't know when Microsoft actually released Windows 7. I know it was a very long time ago. Let me go ahead and type in release date and see what comes up on the internet. Okay, 2009. So you can see it's been about 2 decades now since that operating system actually came out. But yeah, that's actually very interesting to me that they still supported Windows 7 for as long as they actually decided to support Windows 7. I know a lot of people had mixed feelings about Windows 7. Windows 7 is, I guess, an okay operating system. I can't say too much about Windows 7 personally, since I personally never used Windows 7. To be honest, I must admit that. But from what I heard, there were some mixed feelings about Windows 7, but let's be honest here. Everyone can agree, though, Windows XP was definitely not Windows XP. Windows Vista was definitely the worst operating system in recent memory that Windows did make. It had a lot of bugs. It had a lot of glitches. A lot of people did not like Windows Vista. It had a lot of compatibility issues with like games. software. Overall, it just wasn't the best experience. So I get why so many people out there just do not like Windows Vista as an operating system, but I still heard mixed things about Windows 7, but I guess it's okay that they're finally killing off Windows 7 practically after 2 decades, so it makes sense. Okay, let's see if there's anything else interesting out there. I'm not really going to go into it. We know that they're actually going to be killing it off, which is, it makes sense after 2 decades. You can't really support something forever as a tech company, and it is time to move on. And let's be honest, most people, or a lot of people anyway, have already moved on from that operating system. And like I said, if you keep supporting it too, it'll pretty much mean that you'll give people less incentive to upgrade too. And some people need to jump on the brand new operating system, which is obviously Windows 10. Huh? It looks like here from the internet, it looks like Windows 7, you can upgrade to Windows 10 for free. I know they did that a long time ago, but it is nice they're allowing users to upgrade from Windows 7 to Windows 10 free if you still haven't jumped on that spaceship yet, or that bandwagon. I don't know, honestly, if this is official or this is not official when it comes to the internet. But I will say it is very interesting to know that they are going to be killing off. They are going to be allowing you to upgrade to Windows 10 for free if you're on Windows 7. Oh, what's up? Welcome to the stream. You're asking me how tall I am. I'm actually about 5'5", so I'm actually pretty average when it comes to my height. I'm not tall, I'm not short. Like I said, I'm pretty average at that. But welcome to the stream. We're just talking about the tech news and the gaming news, which I normally talk about on these type of like just chatting or IRL streams. Also, I do allow people to chat in chat room practically about whatever you want to talk about. So if you want to talk about literally anything, I'm pretty much down for it if you have any topics you would like to talk about. It's not just open to tech and gaming, but that's the primary focus. Okay, so it looks like a new company actually released a new drone that looks very similar to what DJI would actually produce as a tech company. I know DJI, for instance, does make some of the best drones in the business without a doubt. You can't even argue that. If you want a drone, you're buying DJI. I know there's some other ones on the market that might have a little bit better equipment and maybe better specs in a lot of different areas, but for the mainstream consumer, I would definitely recommend DJI because they make a lot of different products. So there's probably a drone out there for you in the DJI line, and they're not always all expensive. But this drone right here looks like it's called the Sky Dio 2 drone from I don't even know what company. Let's go ahead and check this out. Go ahead and mute the audio. Okay, so I don't know a lot about this drone, but I do think drones are just very fascinating. I've always loved the idea of drones. The thing that makes drones really sought after is the fact that they're a very good tool for videography for sure. You can't go wrong with a drone for videography. And nowadays, I'm assuming a lot of people who want like city landscapes or mountain landscapes or just nature and things like that, especially like if you're in the film industry, like making big blockbuster movies, they probably use drones at this very moment because you look at some of these drone footages coming off of a lot of these different drones out there, and you can see the quality of these things are just flat out amazing and flat out just ridiculous. We got 4K cameras, we got 2K cameras, 1080p, and you can see that these cameras are just getting better and better on drones. And that's like literally the main reason you would actually buy a drone, to take footage. I know they're also fun to fly, but that's literally why you would buy a drone, for that reason alone, if you had to take stuff in the air, because it makes it so much more practical, of course, obviously, than like a airplane or a helicopter. It just too much money. It's just too time consuming. You just have this little drone that flies for miles on miles that can literally take pictures of everything, and the cameras on these things are just flat out amazing. So that's very cool. I just wish I knew the company who made this. But this guy's claiming that this drone is actually better than what DJI can provide. I haven't really looked into this drone. I may look into this drone a little bit later and maybe talk a little bit about this, but that's very interesting because for the longest time it seems like in general there's not really there's not really too much competition when it comes to drones, and most people buy just, I would assume, DJI. So that's very interesting that there's a new drone in town. I just wish too, good drones were inexpensive, but a lot of the good drones are just way too expensive for what they are, which kind of sucks. But like I said, it is what it is, and there's not much you can do about that. I guess most of the time you have to be real with yourself. If you want a good quality product, you do have to pay up, of course. What else is interesting? Okay, it looks like YouTube has added some more features on YouTube. YouTube adds some basic subscription filters on iOS to make your backlog less intimidating. Okay, what is this about? Okay, it looks like they're basically going to make the subscription tab for everybody who subscribe to different content creators a little bit more easier to organize, because you know you may be subscribed to a lot of different people, and sometimes your subscription box can get a little bit messy and things like that. So it looks like they're trying to uh, tackle that issue by trying to make a nice little filter that allows you to fix the subscription box on YouTube to make it a little bit more cleaner. It looks like though it's only going to be on iOS as now. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to be on something like laptops or desktops or even Android. It looks like it's going to be for anything that's an Apple device with iOS. So primarily, I'm assuming they're smartphones and their tablets, which is very interesting to say the least. It looks like you don't have to use the filters according to this website. You can totally just disregard the filters if you don't want the filters. Okay. I can't disagree though. More features the better. There's never a downside to having more features. And it's nice they're always trying to like improve their website and things like that. And I can see that actually being a really practical feature on YouTube, and I can see a lot of people actually gravitating towards that feature and actually using that feature if they know that feature is there, because I do know firsthand that the subscription box can get kind of messy and it's kind of hard to organize or like filter through some stuff you may want to watch in your subscription box, especially when you have like so many subscriptions. So many people have like dozens of subscriptions in their inbox, and it can get overwhelming at times to try to figure out what you really want to watch. So that's actually very nice news. Okay. Okay, it looks like they're making progress with that satellite network that Elon Musk wants to develop. So basically, you may or may not have heard the news, but recently, in like the last week, Elon Musk is trying to make a new satellite network that's pretty much going to provide internet to the whole entire world. So like there won't be any dead zones or any dropouts, because as we speak right now, the whole entire world doesn't have access to the internet, and some spots in every country have dead zones, like whether you're on a mountain, whether you're in the country, whether you're in Antarctica, whether you're on a boat in the middle of the ocean, you do get dead zones. And a lot of people in some countries can't even get internet access. So he's trying to make it to where everyone can get internet access and anywhere in the world, no matter where you are on planet Earth, which I actually think that's actually a very awesome idea. But it looks like they still have a lot of work to do with trying to get those satellites up into orbit, of course, because that's pretty much how they're going to do this with satellite technology, with the SpaceX program, I do think, something like that. So that's actually very interesting. I hope that actually goes through, because that would actually be something that's actually life-changing and groundbreaking, to be honest. And I highly think that would actually be a really good idea. And it would change the world for the better, for sure. Okay, let's move on. Yahoo, oh man, every time we always hear these news articles about companies tracking you, they claim they won't want to track you or something like that. It looks like Yahoo, Verizon owns Yahoo, I think, nowadays, and here in America, apparently, they're doing some tracking on OneSearch. I'm not too familiar with what OneSearch is, but that's I guess very interesting they're updating their policies. Can't really talk too much about that, but I just think that's actually pretty interesting and things like that. Trying to see if there's anything else interesting on the internet. How to sell your own phone. There was something interesting actually about Apple and about the iPhone and things like that. But honestly, now that I think about it, I can't remember what was the big deal about the iPhones. But there was some article about iPhone technology or something about the price or something. Huh? There's really nothing I can talk about at the moment that's actually interesting. I'm trying to see here if there's anything interesting. Nah, I don't see anything interesting actually. Let's go ahead and move on to a different website. Let's try this website and see if there's anything on here. Okay, so it really looks like that rumor for the Nintendo Switch is real, apparently. It looks like the Bioshock collection is coming to the Switch. I want to bring up the article. But yeah, it looks like the Bioshock collection is coming to Switch, which is actually pretty awesome news. Because Bioshock is obviously one of the great franchises out there, and a lot of people like Bioshock, so that's actually great. I just want to know how Bioshock's gonna play on the Nintendo Switch. I know for a fact that Bioshock Infinite does take a little bit more horsepower to play Bioshock Infinite. So I'm actually very curious to see how Bioshock Infinite is actually going to play on the Nintendo Switch, since we all know the Switch is underpowered compared to like a PC, obviously, or like a PS4 or an Xbox One. So that news is going to be very interesting. We'll have to wait and see. That's really going to be the make it or break it for that collection, obviously, because you can get those games on, I think, the PC, of course, and then I think they had that collection on the current gen consoles, the PS4 and the Xbox One. Okay, let's see if there's any more Nintendo Switch news. Hmm. So apparently, everyone still thinks that Dante is going to be the next Super Smash Bros. Ultimate character, which I can see that actually happening. I mean, I think some of the games are on Nintendo Switch already, like they ported them, I do believe. And then on top of that, he does have a lot of stuff to his name, and I think Capcom, I think Capcom would need another character for Smash Brothers, maybe. So I get why they're reporting on the news that the next Smash Brothers character might be Dante from Devil May Cry. And yeah, he would be a perfect fit for Smash. He wouldn't be my go-to character, to be honest, but he would be a perfect fit, to be honest. I cannot disagree on that. I think he would be a perfect fit, but he wouldn't be my go-to. A lot of people still have that thing floating around how they're like, oh, it might actually be Doom Guy from Doom. I know nothing about Doom Guy, but honestly, if I was to pick one, it would still be Dante. He's not my go-to, but he's still a character I would actually like for, or I'd be happy with anyway for Smash Brothers. Okay, biggest Nintendo Switch exclusives for 2020. Let's see if there's anything interesting on here. I haven't actually looked at these lists yet, actually. I've looked at some other stuff, but not actually the Switch list. So let's see if there's anything interesting. Tokyo Mirage Sessions is coming out January 17th. That's like in 2 days or one day. That game's not for me. It's an interesting game, but I'm not really an anime fan. Surprisingly, even though I'm not an anime fan, I must admit this. I'm a real big fan of Persona games. I love Persona 4 and Persona 5. I don't know why, because I'm not into anime, but I love anime. I just think anime is freaking awesome. I'm no, sorry, I just think that game's awesome. I don't know what I'm thinking about, sorry. But yeah, I just think those games are awesome games. Who cares though? Do more indie games. They're revolutionary, you're basically saying. Yeah, I agree with you. Indie games are actually very revolutionary because a lot of these companies who make these big AAA games always stick to the same formula. I can't disagree there. And there's been some amazing experience. I'm definitely a big indie fan when it comes to video games. I love, love, love indie games for sure. I own so many indie games because one, they're disposal. I mean, they're so cheap you don't have to worry about the price. And then two, they're making some really cool experiences. One of my favorite games of the recent couple years definitely has to be Celeste. Celeste is an amazing game. Whether you like the platforming in the game or whether you just like the story, because that game has a really cool story to tell, and it may speak to a lot of people too. But yeah, I love Celeste, and so yeah, I definitely love a lot of indie games. But I'm just trying to see what else is there when it comes to the big blockbuster titles, if there's anything interesting. We got Bravely Default 2. Bravely Default 2 doesn't seem all too interesting. It's just more Bravely Default, I guess. I guess that's not necessarily a bad thing for a... I wonder who made Bravely Default anyway. I know Bravely Default 1 was on the 3DS. Who made it? I want to say Square Enix, but that doesn't sound right. Oh, it is Square Enix. Holy smokes, I was right. I just guessed out of the top of my head. It was actually Square Enix. Huh, very interesting. I'm going to be looking through a lot of different news articles and things like that. And also, if you're coming in here, we can literally talk about anything. It's not just open to gaming and technology. It's pretty much open to anything. Anything you want to talk about. As long as it's okay to talk about on here, then I'm okay with that. Where'd the rest of the games go? Wait, where'd the rest of the games go? Like, oh, because it's on a, okay. I found the list again. Talked about Mirage Sessions. I already talked about Animal Crossing New Horizons. I talked about my feelings on that. Speaking of indie games, there's actually some pretty interesting indie games coming out. I looked up on a list. Very interesting. What is this? Ninjala? I'm sorry I can't show you what's on screen right now because I can't screen cap it at the moment. So you're just going to have to hear my voice. But this Ninjala game looks interesting. It looks like Splatoon and ARMS. Very like Splatoony and ARMS based. Well, the main issue with the big titles, especially Nintendo, is that they can DMCA reviewer reviews. Oh, you mean like flag them or something? Yeah, I think that is true, but I think in the last couple of years they've been pretty good on that. Because I do Nintendo reviews here on YouTube, and I haven't got flagged in a while. I mean from Nintendo anyway. So that's pretty good news. First party mode. Okay, looks like it's a parkour game. Very interesting concept. Huh. For the Switch. That's interesting. Is that a first party title? Because now you got me interested, kind of. Because I'm a big fan of Splatoon and ARMS. Maybe not ARMS, per se. Forget ARMS. ARMS was a joke to begin with, but... Man. Oh, this game looks like it's right up my alley, actually. Yeah, this game looks like it's right up my alley, and it's coming spring 2020. It's called Ninjala. Ningala. If you haven't looked at it. I guess we know no information on this Ninjala game, but it looks very interesting. Something that I would actually want to play. But I need to see the gameplay first, because it looks weird, like it's some kind of parkour multiplayer game. So who knows what parkour is. Like, I know what parkour is, obviously. It's like running and jumping on buildings and stuff. But I need to know more information on the actual game. No More Heroes 3. No More Heroes 3 is probably not my thing, but I understand why some people would be happy for that, especially since the last No More Heroes like spin-off game we had on Switch was horrible apparently, and nobody liked the game. But I guess it wasn't trying to be a mainline game. It was technically trying to be a spin-off of the No More Heroes series. I'm probably going to go about an hour on the stream too, unless anybody has anything interesting to say. I've roughly streamed about 25 minutes now. So No More Heroes 3 is right there. Very interesting. We don't have a release date. Sports story. Okay, they're throwing in some indie games in the mix. I know a lot of people love Golf Story on the Switch in the indie scene. I haven't actually played that game, but I know that game. I would actually like that game. First of all, believe it or not, it's weird. Maybe not weird, but you may not know this, but I actually love golf games. I don't play them all the time, but I do appreciate golf. It's an okay sport. And then just the whole fact that it was an RPG is kind of cool with a story to tell. But yeah, Sports Story looks like it's just going to be a better version of Golf Story since you're going to have different sports in the mix, which is very interesting. Xenoblade Chronicles remake. So it looks like we already have 3 versions of Xenoblade Chronicle, including this one. We'll have the one on Wii, the one on 3DS, and then the one on the Switch when it comes out. And obviously, the one you're gonna want to play is Xenoblade Chronicles, the one on Switch. It's just gonna be a remake, I do believe. Okay, we don't know too much information to be fair, so we don't know if it's gonna be like a totally new game with like new elements to the gameplay, more content. But we do know, however, of course, it is gonna have better graphics, so that's a plus, obviously. And that game really needs to be reached out to more people since Xenoblade Chronicles, at least the original one, was a GameStop exclusive, if you remember, which made the price go really high. Now it was kind of more accessible when they put it on 3DS, obviously, and they also put the original one on the Virtual Console on the Wii U. Granted, the Wii U obviously sold horrible, but it's still nice. They still care about Xenoblade. I like Xenoblade 1, but I never really had a reason to go out and buy Xenoblade 2 on the Switch. Nor did I play that other Xenoblade game on the Wii U, which is, yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. I should have probably bought it, though, but I didn't want to. I know the problem is with the Xenoblade games, they're just very long games, so I get why some people may not want to play them since they're very long. And they are JRPGs, which you do have to have a taste in JRPGs. I don't think JRPGs are necessarily for everybody. But this is definitely one of the better ones if you like JRPGs. If you like JRPGs, then I would highly recommend getting something like Xenoblade Chronicles. Okay, that was not too good. I mean that was literally all that was on this website, of course. So not too interesting. I mean, we did see some good interesting games on there, but besides that, not really. Not really anything that I didn't already know about, I mean. Except for that one game that's very interesting. Let's go ahead and look at some more news. Okay, we're going to be looking up tech now. I'll mix it up a little bit. We're going to look up tech stuff. Trying to find the right category here in this website, but it's a little bit hard to find the right category in this website. Okay, I'll talk about this though, because this is very interesting. It looks like the U.S. Navy has has a secret video of UFO encounters. It's hard to tell if they're real or not real, because whoever knows if they're faking the footage or not. Because I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, and especially a lot of these governments like to hide stuff from the public. So who knows if these UFO encounters on videos are real or not? Because you can easily fake them, obviously, nowadays with the technology we have. But if they're real, that would be insane if we can prove it. If somehow we can prove it, but we'll never be able to prove it. Because you can never trust the government in general. Not just our government here in America, but governments anywhere you cannot trust. It's always like they claim because it's true. They claim. Claiming doesn't mean anything. Claiming could mean they just made that up. Why is it that every Why is it that if someone claims that there's a UFO sighting, and if it was, even if it is proven real, we'll never be able to know if it's real or not because the aliens never want to talk to us, literally. I find that so interesting. Yeah, I find that very interesting. That we'll truly never know, even if it is proven real, because we don't know if those are alien spaceships or those are like, uh, if those are like stuff that's man-made from like Earth. Who knows? It's just actually very interesting to say the least. Why can't I go back to the page I was on? Okay. Oh man, there's really nothing in. Okay, we got some more development on another smartphone. It says right here, OnePlus announces 1440p 120 Hz 10-bit Samsung AMOLED display for the OnePlus 8 Pro. Okay, so we got some new development on the next OnePlus phone. 120 Hz and a 2K display. Not too surprised about the 2K display though, because those are relatively common nowadays. Almost like all the top-end phones have a 2K display. But the thing that makes this super crazy is the fact that they're finally going to go to 120 hertz, which they're going to be copying Samsung apparently with the S20. So that's pretty awesome news that most flagship phones are going to 120 hertz. So that's cool. I just wish that I've already talked about this, but I really wish that companies would actually go away from 1440p and finally give us more resolution. I mean, not like it matters because 2K displays 1440p are still very high refresh rates for phones and things like that. But seriously, I wish they would make higher refresh rates, or not higher refresh rates, higher resolution. Excuse me. I meant to say higher resolution. Wow. Apparently, for mobile apps, apparently TikTok was #1 in 2019. Even though people are downloading it, you don't actually hear too many people talking about TikTok, to be honest. Yeah, why is that? Why is that? Why is it that TikTok is actually very popular, but you don't really hear people talking about TikTok? Like, at least in my case, you don't. And a lot of people who have like YouTubes or Twitches or whatever, they don't actually talk about TikTok too much. Okay, very interesting story here. The army found a way to keep your hands warm without gloves. So how so? Is it like some liquid or something? Man, it sucks that all these articles are sourced out to different websites. Okay, I don't want to see that. Ah, Jesus, you can't read the article. Okay, fine. That's fine. But that's still interesting news. The army found a way to keep your hands. I don't know how it. Oh, apparently, I think it looks like it's going to be some type of medicine. It's some type of medicine that humans could actually use to make your body temperature change or something crazy like that. That is pretty interesting. Because who would have thought you'd be able to take something to actually change your body temperature, it looks like. So that's pretty cool that you'll be able to keep warm without gloves. I think it only works for your hands though. It doesn't work for your whole body. So like you can't go outside in like Antarctica and like not wear like a jacket or anything. You'd probably still freeze, but at least your hands. I don't know how good this technology is. I'm assuming if this article just came out, it wouldn't be like very it wouldn't be like the technology. Let's say it wouldn't be the greatest probably. I mean, I could be wrong. What is Hitmonk? Oh, it's a trip planner. Okay, never mind. Not interested. It said a website was closing down. It had an interesting name, and I wanted to see what the deal was with this site called Hitmonk. But no, this site called Hitmonk. There's nothing interesting about this Hitmonk website. So whatever. Game phones, games, Steam, the best Shark 2 Pro could be the best. Yeah. Okay, they're talking about more smartphones, and this time they're talking about how there's more gaming phones appearing, and they all look very gaming-esque with a lot of like just the way they're designed. They look like armors. They look like sci-fi computers. I will admit, why do all the companies who want to make like a gaming-focused phone or something, or even like a gaming-focused laptop, always want to go with this like futuristic, cyber-looking design? I mean, it's not bad, but I feel like it's overused, and like everybody in the industry who makes like a gaming laptop or a gaming phone wants to go with this weird, bizarre, futuristic look, and like the bat and like a lot of these phones too, not just gaming phones, always have these really crazy colors on the back when it comes to the colors. When you move the light, I don't know what the name of it called, but when you move your phone around in different lights, the color on the back changes, so it's not really one color. It's like a lot of different colors combined, which is actually very interesting. But apparently, they're saying that this smartphone in particular might be the best gaming phone on the market. I can actually see that being a thing, actually. No, you're kidding me. No way. This is actually really cool technology. So apparently, for the next Surface Pro, the Surface Pro 8, it just says May, of course. These are only rumors and speculations again. But it looks like they may have solar panels on the back that'll actually allow it to charge up wirelessly from the sun to extend the battery. I don't know if it's the main way you would be charging the device, or if it would just be for like when you're low on battery, you need extra battery, it would kick on. But either way, just to have solar panels on a mainstream computer or a mainstream mobile device like that would actually be very cool and very futuristic. Because I don't think there's been anything in recent years or in technology history that's actually used solar technology. I know there's been some backup batteries you can buy that have solar panels and things like that. And you can buy solar panels for your house and stuff, of course. But for like actually having it on the actual device itself is actually pretty crazy and pretty interesting when it comes to mobile technology. So I am going to be very interested about that. Six six tech trends that will dominate the new decade. So what are they actually talking about here? Okay, it's nothing actually too interesting. I'm going to go ahead and skip that article. I have nothing to say about that article at all. It's just honestly a very interesting article to say the least. Let's see here. I will end early too if there's nothing to talk about. I'm trying to see if there's anything honestly interesting to talk about. I guess for the meantime, since I don't see anything really interesting, I talked about everything that's trending today in the tech and gaming space. I guess we can go over to Reddit and see if there's anything interesting on Reddit. Okay, one of the trending things on I guess Reddit is the Smash Brothers update, because who literally knows what's going to be in there? I know for a fact that my character is not getting in, the character that I want. I'm gonna say this right now. It sucks, but he's not getting in. He's not weird or anything. Like He makes sense for Smash, but he's not getting in. I don't care what anyone says, he's not getting in. I would literally crap my pants if he got in Smash Brothers, the character I want, but nah. And I don't actually see anything interesting. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here actually because I actually don't see anything interesting to talk about, and no one really has anything interesting to say on stream as well either. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream here because it is getting kind of late for me, and then on top of that, there's nothing really interesting in the news. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys later in my next video or stream. I'm out.